and welcome back to my channel. Today I am finally filming a video that you guys have literally been like, you've been on my shit for a long time now. I'm so sorry. This is the first time I've literally filmed probably since March. I've just been so busy with uni and I'm so excited to be finally getting it out there talking about the most beautiful book that has happened to me since A Court of Mist and Fury, and obviously the answer is that book being A Court of Wings and Ruin. This is my book talk. I'm so sorry. It's taken so long. I'm very excited to get it out there into the world. So I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm not bothering with a non-spoilery section. Go read the book, come back, we'll have a chat because we're just gonna dive in. We ain't wasting time today. This is also not gonna even be a proper book review. This is gonna be me screaming my lungs out about just random things. No intelligent, coherent thoughts. I'm not be giving like good discussion. I'm just gonna be yelling, going, oh my god, and that is literally what we're here for, and I hope you guys are here for that kind of stuff too. So yeah, and I would also like to apologize. I wrote out half my notes for this book talk and then I just keep getting too many messages. I never finished actually writing it, so half of it may be well articulated and the second half will just be me less articulated. So you'll probably notice when I stopped writing notes, but let's just get on with it. Immediately when I like opened that book and I saw the detailing of the map, I lost my mind. I was like, oh my god, it's been extended. There is so much more detail. We know that this is gonna be some good stuff. So like as soon as I see that first chapter and it was Reese, I started crying. I was like, oh my god, I can't handle it. I can't handle it being thrown headfirst into a Reese chapter. And like I knew everything was going to be okay because this was like several years ago, well, many years ago, and we were now in the present day. But seeing his perspective of everyone dead across that battlefield, holy lord, I was like, I'm sorry. I didn't really expect to be crying in the first freaking page. Just the description of the miles and miles of dead bodies just stretching across the battlefield was so haunting, and I was like, wow, Sarah, good job. Already making me cry. I'm really proud of you for this one. Thanks. My camera's wonky and I'm not gonna fix it, so sorry. Next thing we know, we're back to Feyre and we're looking at Feyre's chapter, and she's in the spring court and she's fucking shit up already. We knew this was gonna happen. She's sticking voodoo dolls of, you know, Ianthe and Tamlin and just going, screw you guys, you know, you catch my drift. Homegirl was doing what we all wanted. She was playing the game and she was winning. She was gonna beat their asses, and I was like, good job. So surprise, surprise, Tamlin was still an asshole. Who saw that one coming? Everyone. Redemption arc. My ass. Frickin' Ianthe turns up so quickly in this book and I was like, ho, just leave. You shouldn't be here this early. I honestly couldn't believe how early she came back into the book. I thought that actually she was going to take a while. I was actually very surprised how quickly the book was moving at the beginning. Like that whole sequence at the spring court went incredibly quickly. I thought we wouldn't go back to night court until at least halfway through the book. Was really glad it moved at that pace though. I was very glad for that. I could not handle being separated from my kids that long. aka night court. She was already there and I was like, wow, who knew I could seethe with rage within like 50 pages. Awesome. Okay, thank god Reese and Feyre could still use their bond. Not like very well, otherwise people could like maybe pick up on it, but they still had like very faint communications here and there, and I was like, sweet baby Jesus, I could not handle it if my children were completely disconnected. Oh my god, Jurian turns up at spring court. What the hell? Honestly, I feel like I should have seen that coming a lot earlier, that Jurian would like come into play with the spring court, but he was just there so early. Everyone arrived so early and I saw him there and I was like, hello, like, could you go? Because at this point, I still hated his guts. I thought he was a nasty. So Jurian's there. He turns up at the spring court with those freaky ass little twins. Seriously uncomfortable anytime those two spoke. Hello, Jaime and Cersei Lannister. Am I right? I can't even say their names. Like, what is it? Dagden and Branna? Sorry, I really butchered those, but whoa, what a wild ride they were. But honestly, when I was reading about them, I was like, these guys are gonna be dead in 50 pages. Like, I'm not like too like pissed off they're here. And you know, your girl was right. Oh my god, but they were Diamante? Like, is that how we say it? I can't remember. But they were them as well, and I was like, I'm sorry, what? Oh, yes, that ceremony, the longest night of the year where Ianthe's just there like welcoming in that sunlight and all that stuff, blessed the land, and the sunlight's gonna like, you know, shine on her, but clouds open, sun comes down, and our homegirl, Feyre darling, she's just glowing. She's just sitting there like, yeah. So we get this incredibly heartbreaking moment when the discussion of Calanmai comes up. We all, you know, me particularly, was so sure that Tamlin and Ianthe took part in the riot and then Ianthe was going to be pregnant, but I don't think any of us saw this coming, and I was crying. I'm gonna wail with the thought of it, but I cried so much reading this. I felt so sick. We find out that Tamlin didn't partake in Calanmai and he forced Lucian to be in his place. And then as soon as he said that, I knew what had happened. I knew that Ianthe took advantage of that, and I actually can't, I felt so sick reading about it. Excuse my language, but that fucking bitch got what she wanted, and I was so freaking angry about it. I couldn't believe that Tamlin made his best friend do that. Honestly, I was so angry. It was so twisted, and like honestly that was like, I hated him before, but then quite quickly afterwards we get this really like this little sliver of happiness where we had this really beautiful exchange between Feyre and Alice, and I really like, I lived that because I was really hoping we'd get to see them like interact again, because I feel like Alice really always looked out for Feyre in the Spring Court, maybe not in the beginning of the Court of Mist and Fury, but like I knew she would have homegirls back this time around. Alice knew that Feyre was faking it, she knew the game she was playing, and she was like, I'll see you, but I won't say nothing. And I was like, that's my girl. So Feyre convinces the douchebag, Tamlin, to, you know, accompany on their little expedition, you know. What do? We run into the Children of the Blessed, and I was honestly like, about freaking time. I had been waiting for these people to like get back into the plot line. Like honestly, it was so long since they were thrown in, and I knew they had to come back in. Can I just say, I was pissed as hell when I found out the twins killed them. Honestly, I really loved that Feyre was like, no, and then homegirl's solution was to send the bogey out to them, and I died. I was cracking up when like Feyre and Anthony were sleeping next to each other, and Feyre's like, it's taken all my willpower in the world not to slit this bitch's throat, and I was like, girl, we are all on the same page right now. Thank you for thinking that as well. So Feyre girl, Feyre darling gets the opportunity to gallop off into the sunset, leave the Spring Court behind, find my little babies again, and just live her life. But obviously, because it's Feyre, nothing goes to plan. You know, she hears little bitch face Ianthe causing shit, and we go see, ooh, she has Lucian. She has him tied to a tree. So what does our girl do? Well, she goes buck wild. She breaks into Ianthe's mind, shatters her freaking hand, and then makes her forget why it's broken, but she'll always have like some little piece of fear every time she thinks about it, and she'll be scared forever. And I was like, oh yeah, like that is some wild shit. I thought that was excellent stuff. Honestly, I wanted her dead, but because she's a plot device, we couldn't kill her just yet. Then ancestral thing 1 and thing 2 turn up. Oh my god. Anyway, the twins died. Who cares? Feyre and Lucian running off, you know, we're gonna find our way back to the Night Court. Quite excited about that. But of course, in, you know, true Sarah J Maas fashion, there's a hitch along the way and shit hits the fan. And that hitch being the frickin' powers are just not doing things because of an apple. Anyway, so we're hightailing it away, running off, as we do. Lucian and Feyre have to go through the Autumn Court. So, you know, the kids are chilling, they're trying not to die, because of that, you know, their powers are dulled, and you know who turns up? The good old Dick Brigade. The Dick Brigade being Lucian's brothers. And there he is, fucking Harris. Oh my god, I was like, you little shitbag. It was taking every ounce in me not to lose my freaking mind that we were finally meeting that asshole who did everything, you know, to more. I was just like, oh my god, this book brought me a lot of rage. I'm actually gonna be very honest about that. Thing we know, we're gapping it real quick from the Dick Brigade, and we find ourselves like on this lake sprinting away from them, and in that moment I was like, we're all gonna die. This is it. It's over. Obviously it wasn't, but I was just like, I'm done. I'm done. Of course, Eris is like, you know, the best idea for me right now is I'm gonna melt this ice so they drown. So in this moment, you know, I'm just like, you know, it would be a really great time for my kids at the Night Court to turn up, sort this out, because it's not going very well right now. And you know what? They did, and I cried so much. Oh, I'm welling up at the thought of it. And then of course Cassian, being Cassian, my little baby, has to be so damn extra and like lands, and he's like, shh, I knew it, I knew it, I knew it, I knew it. His wings were healed, and I was like, yes! So at this point, you know, I'm crying, I'm screaming because I called it. Theory came true. I was right, his wings are fine. And 2, my kids were reuniting. I was very excited, okay? It was just such a beautiful exchange because Feyre is like hugging him in desperation and so excited to see him, and all the pain and happiness that she felt I was feeling because I had missed him so much. Like, these characters mean everything to me. Then Az drops down, and then I'm bawling, I'm sobbing, it's snot, it's tears everywhere, I'm losing my mind because everyone's here, and then they're flying away. We're finally at the townhouse, I'm losing my mind, I'm crying, we're seeing everyone again, more Amryn, and my eyes lit to the other page for just a second, and I just saw Rhys's name, and I know I keep saying I lost my mind, but I actually lost my mind. Like, I'm crying at the thought of it. Feyre just like falls to the ground, and he's there to pull it back up. My stone cold heart melted, it warmed up, and I cried and cried. But of course, in in true Faye Sand style, they thought the best idea in this particular moment was to get it on. So, good job, kids. Anyway, we finally get up to the House of Wind and we see Nesta and Elaine. My little heart breaks for little Elaine, you know. I knew something was up. I kind of wondered that moment if she was psychic because she was just saying like weird little rhymes, and you know, I was right, very pleased, and I was very intuitive about that. I'm sure most of you were as well. And Nesta still being Nesta, shady, kind of love her, but her and Cassian aren't clicking. Disappointed about that, but I fully respected, you know what I mean. Teresa's organizing this little meeting and boom, way ho. Next thing we know, like, Nesta's emissary to the human realm, and I was like, alright then, we're doing that. That's cool. Should be interesting. It was. But I was also quite excited for it because despite Nesta being Nesta, when she chooses to, she does stand up at the right time. Not always, but I felt like now she was amongst the squad, was one of the Fae. She would be very useful. I was very excited for her. But of course, because she's an archer on Sister, she was like, by the way, I am being paid for my uses. And I was like, get it, girl. You get it. And on the same freaking page in this book, this might have been my favorite page in the entire book. These ball bags are just all of a sudden deciding who has the longest wingspan. And I'm like, guys, I want to know. I want to know. And then they're all putting bets on it. And then that just reminded me so much of the squad in Empire of Storms and placing bets as well. And I was like, parallel. Next thing we know, boom. Meeting with all the other High Lords and more screaming because she sees her friend Vivian, so she's screaming, but then I'm screaming. So we're chilling, we're having our meeting, we're getting to know all the High Lords. Loved pretty much all of them except Autumn. Suck my dick. And then of course, who turns up? Yeah, the biggest douche of them all, the douche canoe, who we have the most tremendous unfortune of having to read about, was Tamlin. You know, he just starts spitting some shit about his crap and how his life sucks, and no one's here for that. Everyone's all like, let's get down to business to defeat Highburn soldiers. Ow. But he gets to go open his big old mouth and say to Reese, like, you stole my bride in the middle of the night, which is actually almost a parallel to some like dialogue in the movie Troy. That's another thing for another time. And then homegirl Faye returns around, she's like, the sun was shining when I left you, and I was like, yes girl. Dickosaurus is over here like, you know, Reese stole my girl. He turned her against me, and I'm like, oh, wank on puss face. That is not what happened. You do not get to make yourself the victim in this narrative. Oh my god. And then this little dickbag hoe goes, do you even notice this little sound she makes before she climaxes? And I was like, what is wrong with you? Dork, dickbag, just leave. No one wants you here. And it wasn't that sentence, it was the entire like whole discussion he was having about how everyone treated him like shit. Well, Sarah J Maas said he has an opportunity at redemption arc, and I said in my Court of Wings and Ruin Theories video that it didn't mean he was gonna take it, and you know, he didn't. We all saw it coming, so. So while, you know, Tamlin's sucking his own dick, trying to make himself look like the victim, I was just waiting for Azriel to come over and run him over like with a bulldozer. Holy crap. And then Reese and Faye were like put together that Lucian's like not from the Autumn Court completely. He's like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, I lost it. Right, moving on. So the gang is like, let's go see Elaine's fiance. Somehow, he has all this information about the Fae, and I'm just reading this going, how could you possibly know this? Like, honestly, how? And he's being a dick. Little Elaine, oh, I just wanted to give her a little hug. And so, you know, I'm just reading the book and like, does someone want to shed some light and enlighten me on how these people could possibly know any of these things? And then Jurian just shimmies on in and he's like, hey, it was me. Good to see you all again. Let's get to work. So Jurian exposes his soul to us. Turns out he ain't as shady as we thought. And I'm like, alright, didn't see it coming. I would have never ever called that. And he like is like, yeah, I basically am just wanting to beg Miriam and Draken for forgiveness. And you know, he spills some more beans, and surprise, surprise, the King of Dicks, aka Tamlin, is when immediately betrayed them all to King of Highburn as soon as that meeting was over. And I was like, honestly, if none of you saw that coming, we all knew he was gonna do that. To be honest, at this stage, I was just like to Tamlin, you know, you're gonna act like a dick. Just put a condom on your head so you look like one too. Just like, oh, keep forgetting to put in there. Nesta can feel the cauldron. Right? That's good to know. Oh! Also forgot to throw in that bit about, was it Bryaxis? A little pal beneath the library? Ah! I really wish I could go super into depth about that, but I can't because so much more to get through. But really enjoyed that whole scenario. And all the guy wanted was a little bit of company, a little window, and I was, why are all the terrifying creatures in Sarah J Maas books just so precious? Oh my god, yes, before I forget, I just want to put it out there because I keep forgetting to say this earlier. A lot of people have been saying that Court of Winds and Ruin is nowhere near as good as A Court of Mist and Fury. Court of Mist and Fury was really entirely centered on relationships and the development of characters. So of course we're kind of gonna, you know, develop more connections and bonds to those characters and just gonna have a bit more love for it. This book was entirely plot driven, so everyone's like, we didn't get the scenes between characters we loved as much. I'm like, because Court of Mist and Fury was entirely focused on characters and their relationships. This was to drive the plot. So of course you aren't going to get like the same things, otherwise you're going to be getting like the same book back to back, and that's not really what we want. So yeah, like two different things were trying to be accomplished in these books, and I thought they were both done really, really well, so just want to throw that out there before I forget. And I should also put it out there, this is where my thoughts are going to become less coherent because I don't have notes written down anymore, so. And then all of a sudden, we got to go to the summer court. Highburns attacking. There was this one bit where all of the Highburn soldiers were like pushing around Cassie and Ezra, and I was losing my mind, and clearly Feyre's was as well, because she's just like, alright, I know what I gotta do. I'm gonna go see the cereal, and then I screamed out loud. The cereal was supposed to be quite a terrifying character, but this fandom has just, I don't know what we've done, but the cereal was just something else to us. And the cereal fills us in on all this really important information to do with the Cauldron and Nesta. And so, you know, the cereal's being a good OG, helping out once again. And who turns up? Some Highburn soldiers? Ianthe. Cereal willingly went to help Feyre knowing it was gonna die. But it was a really great ending to Ianthe because the Weaver had a way with her, and I was like, ah! I told you my thoughts were gonna become incredibly uncoherent now, and I'm so sorry because this is where the book becomes super important. So we break into the summer court, we pushing some stuff around, and honestly all I really want to focus on is Amren and Varian. I know romance isn't the most important thing in this book, but yes, they like kissed and I was like, oh my god. Loved so much, because then that gave me a little hope that Amren wouldn't have to freaking die. So we find out, you know, we do need to nullify the Cauldron to get rid of Highburn. That's going to be a bit of a trouble because, you know, Golden Queens and all that fun stuff, and everyone else, you know, yay. Oh, and it's around this time everyone starts getting like really conflicted about Elaine, Lucian, and Asriel. And though Elaine and Lucian are supposed to be mates, I was very on board for Asriel and Elaine. This whole Moor scenario was, I know for some people, incredibly controversial. So it was a really hard scene to see that Feyre does confront her as saying, you don't love Az, or something like that, I can't remember specifically. And then she says, you're right, I don't. And she explains to Feyre that she is gay or bisexual, or she falls, you know, along the spectrum. And I thought that was really great to see Sarah J Maas putting in some, you know, some actual proper diversity into her characters, because, you know, she is improving so much, because if we look at like her earlier books with Throne of Glass, not a lot of diversity. You can see her growing as an author. But yeah, I thought it was really beautiful to see a bit of diversity in the terms of sexuality coming into the book, rather than just it being like, it was a bit more human rather than just like very flamboyant on the side and built into stereotypes. This is something I really wish I wrote down properly so I could structure like a proper discussion around it, but I thought it was really lovely to see that, and I just thought it was a really good way to see the beginning of some diversity, and I would have loved to see Moore's story a little bit more in depth. And I did cry a lot in that. I cried. So I'm sorry, I know this is taking so long, my thoughts are no longer coherent. I'm just gonna go straight to the end now. I'm so sorry, I feel like this book talk was a bit of a letdown, but I'm gonna go straight into the final battle now. Yeah, that was really hard to read. I cried a lot, obviously. Rhys does this really, my heart broke a little bit when he was doing this little like speech to the whole Court of Dreams. He like starts talking to them like, if I had not met you, this wouldn't have happened to me, and we all wouldn't have been the family that we were, and it all means so much to me, and I just like was like, why do you want to break my heart? And then Feyre goes to Rhys, I never got you a mating present, and she turns around and she's got like the tattoo on her back, and I just like, I was like, no, what is crying? I don't know, I'm not crying, are you crying? This is a lie, like, I'm not sad at all, like, I'm fine. And so the battle begins, and who have we got? We've got Braxis, the Carver, the Weaver, all just going waching, and it was wild. It was buck wild. And then, oh my god, I'm actually gonna cry again. So then it was Rhys, Cassie, and Az, and Feyre, and everyone, they're just kind of standing there, and Feyre realizes this, she's like, this is the last time I'm gonna see them all, and I like lost it. Insert picture of me crying now. Oh my god, tears are actually rolling. And then Cassian turns to Rhys, Feyre, and Nesta, and he goes, I'll see you on the other side. Oh my god, holy mother, bless the Cauldron. Bracken turns up. He's there and he's like, you know, hey guys, you could tell me it was this bad. And I was like, what? I didn't realize we were gonna meet you. And like, oh my god. And Miriam's there, and they're like, you guys, you could have just asked for help. And everyone's like, we couldn't find you. And I was like, I could not believe it. Most of my theories were kind of averagely right, but this is the one theory I could not believe came true. Feyre's father had a freaking armada come coming from the main continent. I was like, no way, no freaking way did I call that. And I'm sorry that I'm tooting my own horn, but I was like, I could not believe I got something. I nailed it on the head. I was like, I knew Feyre's dad would come through and he would save the day, and then it was gonna be great. And just the Archeron's back at it again. 3 ships were called the Nesta, the Elaine, and the Feyre, and he was just like at the helm. And Draken was like, yeah, this guy's got an armada. He calls himself the Prince of Merchants. And I was like, oh. Nesta's like, I can go, the king, he won't sense me coming. And Rhys is like, no, you can't do that. And then Cassian's like, please let us do this, let us repay the debt. And he's like, there's no debt to be repaid. You know, none of them ever really spoken openly about what happened in those 49, 50 years under the mountain, and Cassian addressing it being like, please let us do this. And I was just like, and then Nesta says to Feyre, like, tell father I say thank you. And then she disappears, and then Feyre says to Rhys, he might survive, and he goes, no, he won't. I was like, wow, Rhys, thanks for being such a freaking optimist. Like, okay, thanks. And then so Feyre gets the cauldron, and oh my god, I started losing my mind. For a split second, I was like, Amren's evil. She betrayed us. Are you freaking kidding me? But then, yeah, Feyre thought it too. She's like, oh my god, I fell into a trap. But yeah, she visualizes Cassian, Feyre, and Nesta with the King of Highburn, and King of Highburn has the Archeron's father, and King of Highturn's trying to taunt them all. Their father doesn't care. He just like looks to Nesta and he's like, I love you from the moment I held you in my arms. I am so sorry. I am so sorry for all of it, for everything. And I was like, okay. Cassian like is telling Nesta, you gotta go, you gotta go. She's like, I can't. He goes, my only regret in this life is that we did not get to spend more time together. And oh my god. And so then Amren has to release herself, and she's a freaking death angel, and she's laying waste to the land. Freaking cauldron does something, and then my heart stopped. Feyre can't feel the mating bond, and Rhys he's dead, and I'm not screaming because it was 3 AM, but I was yelling into my pillow, and I knew he wasn't dead. There was no way Rhys could die, but I was still freaking out. Everyone comes together, and with the cauldron, they bring him back, and I'm losing my mind at this point. But he's like lying there, and he's just like, oh, someone get Amren. And at this point, everyone thinks Amren is dead, and then she just like flops out of the cauldron. He's like, yeah, I reached out a hand, and she took it back, and then so much other stuff is happening. Everyone just like trying to recuperate. There's just one bit that really stuck out to me, and that was Feyre and Nesta and Elaine. They all see their father, you know, doing like a bit of like kind of like a funeral for him, and they're like, and Elaine like sobs out like, I love you, and I know that's like such a little thing, but like it was just so heartbreaking. And then when Feyre does like a little prayer for him, I just sobbed. Then we're starting to have this exchange between Miriam and Draken, and they're just trying to figure out like what to do with everything now. Feyre calls a meeting. She goes, my name is Feyre Archeron. I was once human, and I'm now Fae. I've called both worlds my home, and I would like to negotiate a treaty. And so she tells everyone her story. Oh my god, I gotta stop crying. She tells everyone her story of how basically how she came to be, and iconic, good shit. And I literally can't go too much into the end of it because I'll start crying even more. But Rhys and Faye are on the roof at the end, and they fly off. She's like, it was a gift, all of it. I am so sorry. The whole ending of this video, basically from the last 25 minutes or so, had just been absolute chaos, and I didn't know what I was saying, and I literally told you I would just be sitting there screaming. I didn't realize I was gonna cry. Yeah, I'm really apologetic if this video did not live up to your hype or your standards. I just want to thank Sarah J. Maas for this series. I know she'd never see this, but I know pretty much all of you would share the feelings I have for these characters in these books. I would not be making these videos without these books. They've changed my life. I'm so grateful for these series and these characters. They have taught me so much, and I love them to bits. And I feel like if anyone who doesn't read books or hasn't read this series probably just thinks I'm being ridiculously dramatic and psychotic. I'd hate to think if any of my friends ever saw this or anyone I ever knew. These books taught me a lot, and I love them so much. They have changed my life, and I'm so grateful Sarah J. Maas for this series. Like, I'm trying so hard not to start sobbing, because just rereading like those last pages just brought back so many emotions. I think a lot of us really relate to Feyre when the series starts. I know in the last 3 years I've grown and changed a lot, and not in the way Feyre has. We were all different people when Feyre started the series, and a lot of us have changed and become new people in this time span, and this series has influenced me in so many ways in my writing, my lifestyle, how I love and care for people. These characters' relationships and their love for people, it has really reminded me to love my friends and my family so much. And yeah, I'm so thankful for the series. I don't know where I would be without it. Oh shit, I don't know how to finish this. I'm so grateful for everything. Devastated that this is the end of Reese and Feyre's story, but I'm so excited to see where the rest of the other books are gonna go. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you've managed to stick around to the end, like, subscribe and all that jazz, and we'll see you kids next time. Bye.
Guess I better wash my mouth out with soap. God, I wish I never spoke. Now I gotta wash my mouth out with soap.
I'm too sad to do an outro. Okay.